So I'm Julie Maxim, and I'm standing here with Brian Braddock. He probably needs no introduction, but he's the Executive Director at the House of Hope. I'm the Director of Development, and we're standing here in front of a dream, really. A dream
Yes.
that started how long ago?
Oh gosh, I think my first tiny house conversation was probably 6-7 years ago.
It's hard
been
to
a while.
believe.
It is.
And then we went up to Easley and saw the Dream Center up there, and the dream suddenly looked more like reality.
Well, it looked more like a home. You know, all the conversations before were like converting a school mobile unit to a house or a building to a house. You know, but when we went up there, we saw what would become a real house. We've been ministering to women and children for over 20 years, but in a communal environment, but not in a home environment. And that's a game changer for us. So it's always been a need, but God's timing is perfect, and here we are standing in front of 13, soon to be 24 homes.
That's amazing. So what's the time frame on these houses?
So early fall, we will have, starting with women and children, in 4 to 6 homes.
4 to 6. And what will happen with the other 20 houses?
So we will finish them out in batches of 4. So, as we get 4 done, we'll occupy them, 4 more, and keep going that way.
So starting with women and children.
Yep.
But ultimately it will be for men, women, and children.
Yes.
And offering that long-term transitional opportunity. So what exactly does that mean?
So people ask all the time, Brian, how long are people going to be able to stay in the homes? And up to 24 months, as long as they're progressing. This is not a landing place. This is where you have stability, safety, dignity, to get everything in place. But we want people to transition 18 to 24 months out.
So when they finish here, the hope is that they have what opportunities?
So, that they've got income, it's life-sustainable income. One of the relationships we're working on, got some construction going on now, is a partnership with a local hospital where a lady could come here and in 12 months get her LPN and make $22 an hour. So those types of employment opportunities. First and foremost, we want to share the life-changing gospel of Jesus Christ. We want them to build a relationship with Jesus. Partnering with all kinds of agencies in the local community to, I hate to use the word, but it truly is a holistic approach, body, mind, and spirit.
Tell me what the process is going to look like for a woman who wants to check in here. She comes and does what?
Everyone will apply at the Courtney McGinnis Graham Shelter. That'll be the first step. That way they can fill out their application, but we also have an opportunity for observation. We just want to observe a woman with her children, and just make sure that there aren't any things that we need to address prior to them coming into the tiny house village, because this safety is top priority. Dignity is top priority. So they'll go there to the community shelter. They'll do the application, meet with case management, transition into the tiny homes, and start their programming then.
So once they get here and they get settled with their kids, and their kids will be enrolled in school,
Right.
then mom will start what? Looking for a job, going to school.
So it all starts with case management. Everybody's program, so to speak, is different. Depends on what the needs are. If there's an opportunity for her to go to school, and like the LPN program I mentioned, then certainly we want to do that. If she's already got education, she or he already has education, job skills, then getting a job may be a primary. But it all depends. If there's just if there's brokenness that needs time to heal, then we'll allow the time for the healing, and that'll happen through counseling and case management. So it just depends on where someone is. There's no first step job, second step transportation. We're just going to meet people where they are.
Sure. So you mentioned heat. Don't you already have a long-term men's program? What will these houses be for men?
We do have a 9 to 12 month life recovery program for men, and that's men who are trying to get through some type of struggle. So this could be transitional housing for them. They finish the program and they need somewhere to live while they put the rest of the pieces of the puzzle, together. But also if it's someone who just had a disability and lost their job and became homeless, they may not need programming. They just may need a safe place to you know, to get job, to get their disability income started, something of that sort.
Right. Oh, that makes sense. So we're talking about a fall opening
Yep.
for women and children. This is a big project. How can the community get involved at this point? Is it done?
So it's not done, as you can see, you know, on the cameras. There's still lots of work to be done. With COVID, prices have skyrocketed. We're kind of drawing out the project 4 homes at a time. So there's donating opportunities from $2 to $250,000. So if you're out there and you're that $250,000 sponsor, give Julie a call, and it can be called the John Doe Family Hope Community Tiny House Village, whatever. But you know, we have a lot of sponsorships. We have a playground, you know, a laundromat. We have a day center. All these things need improvements, you know, different things. So those opportunities, volunteer opportunities, you know, around the property, and then with the program afterwards. So lots of opportunities to get involved.
That's fantastic. So I was looking at these houses, and I saw the model home, and I noticed that I didn't see a kitchen.
Yeah, there's not a kitchen. So one of the special things that the city did was allow us to get campus zoning, which is like a university where you live in your dorm, but you go to the cafeteria, you go to the laundromat.
Right.
And so that greatly reduced the cost of each home. You know, and these homes are like dorms. You know, it's not a lease, it's not a rental. You know, this is where you live while you're going through the life recovery program. So that's something that people ask quite often. But yeah, you'll eat your dinners in the main facility,
Okay.
and you'll wash your clothes in our local laundromat.
You mean local laundromat right here on the premise?
Right here on the property.
That's
yes.
right. They don't even have to go anywhere for laundry.
That's exactly right.
That's fantastic. So you talked about the day center. What's that going to be for?
So the day center is during the day. We were going to be offering counseling, case management, you know, areas for the children to be involved. You know, it's not 24/7 in the tiny home. You know, we want people actively engaged in their life change. You know, so that requires, you know, there will be things to do during the day.
Yeah. So the day center then will have that opportunity for cooking cookies if mom and kid want to
Yes.
cook cookies, or watch TV, or just get out of the tiny house, because they're
Right.
kind of tiny.
Yes, yeah.
How many square feet are they?
Around 300 square feet, hence the name Tiny House. But, you know, it meets all the needs, and, you know, the biggest thing is when you go home and you shut your door and your shoulders drop and you breathe out and you sit in your chair, that's what they'll get. You know, if there's a tear to be shed, reading a book with your child, you know, just that quiet time, or if you just need a little bit of quiet, you'll have that.
That's fantastic.
And in closing, one of the things that really struck me when I was walking through after the homes got built was I looked and they had marked on the home, you know, the numbers, the future addresses of each home.
Each house will have its own address?
Each house has its own address. It's not
Wow.
unit A, B, C, D.
Yeah.
Each one has its own address. The city suggested that for fire reasons and things like that. But what I saw is when you have an address, you're not homeless anymore.
Wow.
You know, so as soon as people come into the tiny house community, they're no longer homeless. And they're no longer homeless physically, but mentally they're no longer homeless. And that's the first step,
That's
you know, to them
fantastic.
building a new life.
I know that's going to mean a lot to people, and the ability for kids to come home from school to a home.
Yes.
And a chance for mom to have a place to nurture her children in private. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I've told the story several times, and it gets me choked up every time, but to see an 8, 9, 10-year-old little boy, little girl get off the bus and run to their mom at their home, you know, and not be ashamed or embarrassed, you know, because they got dropped off at the shelter, that's why we did it.